you enjoy it.
So let's just like dive right in. You've beaten the Last Guardian.
I have beaten the last cat dragon. That's something that I can't get out of my head now ever since we created that episode title.
Tell me about your overall experience with this game.
Yeah, man. Well, I've got something kind of surprising to say, and I think it's safe to say this might be a masterpiece of a game.
Hold on, because like for the past 2 weeks, you've been like throwing this game under the bus.
I have.
What the fuck happened?
Something happened, man. Let me rephrase this. It's a flawed masterpiece. And the
Okay.
reason why I say that is kind of something that we've covered already. I complained a lot about the sort of compromising control mechanics and Trico's unresponsiveness to, uh, basically orders and things that I ask him to do. Just kind of like small nuisances, even frame rate issues were kind of a problem.
Hmm.
And those things are still very much there from beginning to end. So they didn't get better. But what I can say is the story got better, the gameplay got better, and my patience grew stronger
Hmm.
for some of those annoyances. So that's what kind of reshaped my feelings about this game.
Interesting. Interesting. So like break down the plot. Break down the plot for
Sure.
us.
So we covered a lot of things, right? We covered that this is your protagonist or your main character is a young boy, probably around the age of 10 or 11, somewhere around there,
Mm-hmm.
and you're looking after Trico, which is this large cat dragon-like creature.
Mm-hmm.
So in a nutshell, that really is it. You are just nurturing it as you go along. You're fighting off guards that occasionally throw spears at Trico, and you've got to remove them. And you're basically just on this journey together, um, ascending out of this nest.
Mm.
And when I say nest, it's like this beautiful sort of, I don't know what the right word is. It's like this world of
Mm-hmm.
just giant stone structures and buildings, and everything's so majestic looking.
Mm-hmm.
And you start to wonder, what is the purpose of all this? What's the incentive? Why am I helping him? Why is he helping me? Where are we going? What's the whole point of it? And I could probably get into a few spoilers, and maybe I will. So just kind of, warning for anybody listening to this episode, there probably will be a few spoilers. I'm
Mm-hmm.
probably not going to spoil too much, but just keep that in mind.
Okay.
Something might slip, but that is essentially what you're doing. You've been captured by Trico, and basically the summary of the plot here is Trico is part of a gang of these cat dragons, and they have been literally kidnapping young boys and children, and I think other humans as well, from dormitories and orphanages. And I think that's where you come from.
Okay.
And he captures them, and these other Tricos capture you, and they bring you to like this weird bird-like god structure, and they've been sort of swallowing these humans and people and feeding them into this bird-like structure in like the form of a sort of like a encapsulated human in like weird gel. It's
Mm.
fucking really weird, dude. I'm actually still trying to digest the story because I've been watching like a lot of those plot like analysis videos. So
Yeah.
I'm still kind of digesting a lot of stuff. But that is what's been happening, and that's how you got captured. And you develop this bond with Trico because he realizes maybe you aren't worth sacrificing, because that's basically what they've been doing, is sacrificing humans
Okay.
for some godlike reason.
Yeah.
It's a weird power that overtook this land. And like I said rather, still trying to figure all that stuff out because it's kind of weird and complex. But
Mm-hmm.
you get captured by Trico, you create this bond with him, and you're on this journey together to get out of this sanctuary of sorts.
Okay.
And like I said, really marred by horrible controls, frame rate issues, unresponsiveness from Trico. But outside of those things, there's a story to be told here, and it ended up being pretty tremendous.
Hmm. This is
And
not
it's
what
all based,
I wouldn't have expected any of that.
yeah, not to interrupt, but it's all based on this incredible bond that forms between the two of you. And early on into the process, like I said on previous episodes, I was really kind of growing tired of this incentiveless bond and not really understanding where it was going.
Yeah.
And then also dealing with those horrible controls and again the lack of responsiveness from Trico, which is just really quite maddening, and it was destroying everything else that was good about the game for me.
Mm.
But I'm glad that I got past that, and I can promise you the more you get into the game, the more the plot unfolds, and there's some cutscenes that really open up a lot of doors to unanswered questions. So I was very pleased to witness that.
Interesting. Interesting. So, you've talked about the gameplay being kind of frustrating. Let's talk about what did work and then what ultimately did.
Yeah. So what did work was, gosh, I feel like I want to say nothing. I mean, here's the thing. Like, I recognize that there's this symbiotic relationship between you and Trico, and they
Yeah.
designed Trico in such a way that he acts, like I said on previous episodes, like a newly trained dog. You know, it's not going to respond to sit and stand when you want it to. So it requires multiple efforts to get that to happen. But goddamn, dude, do I just want him to obey me? Like they should have just hired like Caesar Milan to, while developing Trico, like the dog whisperer,
Yeah.
because something was just not adding up. But they did it. I just wish that it was done a little bit differently,
Yeah.
and I wish the gameplay was a little bit more polished. Because if the boy was more responsive and didn't continually trip over himself, and when
Mm.
you hit buttons like he won't climb a ladder, I literally was like at the point, even towards the end of the game when it was getting better, I was like, I cannot wait for this fucking game to end.
Mm.
And then when the last cutscene began, all of those like horrible thoughts just melted away, and I fell in love with the story, and I fell in love with the ending.
Hmm.
And I thought to myself, wow, like I'm gonna have to take like a day to digest this, and I'm glad I did, because pretty much all of today I couldn't stop thinking about the game.